The Moogle Treasure Trove event is right around the corner again, and this time it's pretty special because we're seeing the introduction of the Mock Pendium. This sorts the objectives that you can complete into 4 different categories with things such as weekly objectives, and my guess is that this is their way of stopping people from just spamming the same duties over and over for tombstones. So maybe this time around people won't have to spam Circus Tower 50 times in a row. The other thing we can tell from the image that they've provided us is that this is the first hunt for Genesis, and the second one is already in the tab up there. So I fully believe that before Dawn Trail we're actually going to get another Moogle Treasure Trove, perhaps even right when this one ends. Enough speculation though, let's get into the items. The first and only unique item that's only available during the event is the Mameshiba Neckerchief. As usual, this will run you 100 tombstones, and it looks pretty decent in my opinion. I think it's certainly an upgrade over the earrings, although as per usual, the fashion value of these is questionable. I'm still going to farm it out, even if it's probably going to rot in the Glam Dresser. Let's move right on to the 50 tombstone tier, where we're starting off with the Antelope Doe Horn. This is a tradable item that's usually available for 8,400 Skybuilder Scrips from the Firmament. Alternatively, it's usually around 500,000 gil on the market board. Considering your only 2 options of getting this are spending a lot of time in the Firmament or just buying it on the market board, I think this is a very good buy for 50 tombstones. Next up is the Titania Barding. This is a crafted item that goes for up to 1 million gil because it uses an item that you can only get in Titania Extreme. So if you're someone who collects Bardings or you just really like the look of this one, feel free to get this one because the value is definitely there for just 50 tombstones. Next up is a hairstyle, Modern Aesthetics Modern Legend. This is a tradable item that's available for 1,800 Skybuilder Scripts or alternatively on the market board for around 150,000 gil. The price of 50 tombstones for this one is fairly steep, especially when you compare it to the previous 2 items, which were around 500,000 or 1 million gil on the market board. In my opinion, this should be at most 30 tombstones, and depending on how hard the tombstones are to get this time, I wouldn't really recommend farming this out, unless you're super broke and you really want the hairstyle. Next up is the Yukinko Snowflake minion. This also drops from Hydatus lockboxes inside of Eureka, and it's tradable, usually available for around 300,000 gil. Overall, this is slightly better value, but 50 tombstones is still pretty steep. Moving on to the 30 tombstone tier, first of all we have the Dhalmel Whistle. This lets you summon the Dhalmel Mount, which is sort of a malnourished giraffe, camel, I really don't know, okay? This is a tradable item available from Kupos of Fortune, and it goes for around 400,000 gil on the market board. If you're a mount collector, this is a pretty good purchase. Next up is the item Ultima Horns. This is a headpiece that's untradable but available from a vendor in exchange for Proto-Ultima exoplatings. To get these you need to complete a special fate called Prey Online, which has various spawn conditions, so it's a little bit difficult to catch. There's a Discord server that I'll link below called Faloop, where people track these and they'll basically send you a ping whenever it's up, and you can do it with other people. To get enough exoplatings, you need to complete the fate at least twice, so if you really want this item, I would highly recommend that you simply farm it out with tombstones. This way you're not relying on the RNG spawns, and especially if you don't play this game 24/7, the value of this purchase with tombstones just skyrockets. Next up for 30 tombstones, Decisions Omega Orchestrion Roll. This is a tradable item available for around 100,000 gil on the market board, or alternatively it's a drop from the raid Deltascape V4 normal. I went in to test how easy this is to unsync, however X-Death actually casts Doom on 2 people, and if you're the only person in the raid then you're always gonna get Doom. So if you want to solo this, either you have to go in as a healer and use Esuna on yourself to remove Doom, or you need to convince a friend to farm it out with you. Even then, with 2 people, it still takes quite a while. The drops aren't guaranteed, so even after 5 runs, only one of us had the Orchestrion roll. I think 30 tombstones is still a little bit steep for it. However, getting it from the market board for 100,000 gil if you're an Orchestrion roll collector is probably the better call. Next up, also for 30 tombstones, is the Orchestrion roll Twilight over Thanalan. This is also a tradable item that's usually a drop from treasure maps. This goes for around 100,000 gil on the market board, so again, to me personally, this is not worth farming out with tombstones because it just takes so long and 100,000 gil is not a lot. Next up are the ostensibly special Timeworn maps. And here it's worth noting that 30 tombstones will buy you 2 of these. I'm sure a lot of you will know what the 8-player treasure maps will do, but these ones are slightly special because they have a guaranteed portal at the end, so a higher chance for more rewards for your entire party. So if you want to do some treasure maps with your FC, these are a pretty good buy because nobody's gonna say no to guaranteed portals. Next up is the Bomb Palanquin Horn. This is an item available for farming the Kobold tribal quests, at which point you can buy it from a vendor for 120,000 gil. So if you haven't farmed the kobolds yet, then this is a pretty good buy, because not only do you not have to do the tribal quests anymore unless you want access to the other items that they sell, but you're also saving 120,000 gil. Next up are 3 mounts that are available from Extreme Trials level 50, 60 and 70. Those being Boreas, Lanner, and also the legendary Kamuy. These are all available for 30 tombstones, but you can also go into these duties unsynced and in many cases just one-shot the boss. So if you go in, do this a few times, there's a good chance you're just going to get the mount and you're not going to have to farm it out with tombstones. The names of the duties will be in the description below if you're interested in farming these out yourself. Next up for 30 is the MPG Platinum Card. This will instantly give you 50,000 MGP. So this is a great way of getting the Gold Saucer rewards if you really hate actually going to the Gold Saucer. Next up are a bunch of furniture items, and these are just, again, straight up a scam. Never get these because they're available from the market board for really cheap. The only one you could sort of make a case for is the back bar, which I was actually selling on my retainer for quite a while. I guess not anymore because the price is gonna plummet like crazy now. But this is a really easy craft that uses like maybe 15,000 gil worth of materials. And we're not even going to talk about the pixie apple basket or the bar rack. Next up are all of the late Allagan armors. These are also available for 4,000 wolf marks, which drop from PvP activities. 15 tombstones for these is not a lot, but keep in mind that some of your Moogle treasure trove event activities, especially the weeklies, might actually be PvP. So keep that in mind, because you might be able to get the wolf marks required while also farming out other items using the tombstones. Next up are 2 triple triad cards, the Deep Eye as well as the Archeonis. These are available for defeating 2 NPCs with pretty decent drop rates. However, both of the NPCs are locked behind side quest chains that you need to complete before you're even able to duel them. The other 2 cards available are Stormblood Gilgamesh as well as Titania. These are both available from the respective trial. However, I wouldn't recommend that you farm these out manually, because if you consider the average drop rates that people are seeing, as well as the levels of the trials, it simply makes no sense to farm this out to save any amount of time. So these are a clear buy for 7 tombstones. Next up, also for 7 tombstones, 2 minions, Little Leannan, as well as the Griffin Hatchling. The first one is a drop in the Grand Cosmos, or available for around 100,000 gil on the market board. This is an easy buy, because similar reasoning to the triple triad cards, it just makes no sense farming the Grand Cosmos for something that only costs 7 tombstones, which will be around 1 duty in the event. The Griffin Hatchling is untradeable and otherwise available for 400 Centurio seals from Hunts. Buying this for just 7 tombstones is definitely going to save you some time. And lastly in the 7 tombstone tier, and also the last serious item, is the Indomitable Orchestrion roll, which you can buy from the Cogent Tribe vendor at rank 6. So if you're an Orchestrion roll collector but you also don't want to do the tribal quests, then this is worth a buy. However, if you already have the Cogent Tribe at rank 6, then you can simply go there and pick this item up instead of spending tombstones on it. Overall, I think the rewards are pretty mid this time around, especially considering they went through the trouble of adding the Mokpendium. I would have expected a bit more, especially in the 50 tombstone tier, and especially compared to the previous treasure trove, this one is a bit of a letdown for me. But let's see what they do with the second hunt for Genesis, which again I think is going to happen before Dawn Trail, right at the end of this one. If this video was helpful to you, I would really appreciate if you could leave it a like so other people can find it too. For now, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Peace.